Good morning, everybody. I'm going to try something a little bit different, something I've been kind of toying with for the past several weeks. I think I'm going to start doing little daily vlogs of kind of my day-to-day in the bail bond business. It may be, gruelingly boring for you. It may be interesting. I don't know. It depends on what happens, but I think I'm gonna try it out over the next maybe 2 weeks and see how it goes, and kind of gauge off the feedback that I get whether or not I'm gonna continue to do that. So anyway, I guess for my first one, last night my partner and I went out knocking on doors, and we were looking for 4 people, and out of the 4 we made contact with 2 of them. And the first one, we went to his mom's house, and about 10 minutes after we left his mom's house, he called. He said, "Hey, I'm sorry, I don't really have an excuse, but I will meet you for court after the weekend." And we've done business with this guy before, so we believe he's going to come through on his word. So good there. And then the next one we made contact with, we knocked on the door. They said, "Who is it?" "Bail bondsman." And she said, I'm coming. She came to the girl we were looking for came to the door. And that's +1 right there. If we go to the address on the file, and the person that we're looking for is at the address, and they come to the door, we're going to help that person. We're going to work with that person. And said, "Hey, you missed your court date. What happened? We tried to call. We couldn't get a hold of you." She said, I thought my court date was this date, and the date that she said was next month, and her court date was last month. So her court date was in March. She thought it was May. That's a reasonable story. That's a reasonable mistake to make. So we're like, okay, you know what? You came to the door. We feel like you're being honest with us. Here's the next step. This is what we need to do to rectify this situation. So next week we're gonna meet her down at the courthouse. We're gonna explain to the judge what happened, and it is most likely that the case will get resolved right then and there. No problem. So this other one, we didn't find the guy. All the information on his application was bogus. Well, all the information except for one key piece of information. And I'm not really sure yet in these videos how specific I'm going to be willing to be. So I apologize for the vagueness, but a lot of people locally watch my channel, so I don't want to give too much information. Anyway, we go start looking for this guy, and we have not a very good address to go on to begin with. So we go to this trailer park that we think is the right trailer park, but we're not really sure. And one of the things that we do while we're out bounty hunting is, if we're in like a trailer park, an apartment complex, or even a neighborhood, and we're not really sure what door to knock on, then we'll kind of scan around and look for somebody that's awake, somebody that's sitting out on their porch and, smoking a cigarette, drinking coffee, whatever. Especially late at night, we don't want to wake neighbors up randomly. So we go knock on this lady's door. I see her. She's got her windows open, or her blinds open, so I see her walking around in her living room. Go knock on her door, but she won't open the door. All right, it's 9 o'clock at night, 9 or 10 o'clock at night, You know, here's some strange guy coming to your door. Now, I'm in uniform. I'm clearly in uniform, and she can see the uniform. She's got this little flashlight. She's watching me, you know, shining at me. But she's like, I can't open the door. I've got, you know, my dog and this now. I'm like, that's fine. So I'm talking to her through the door, and she doesn't believe me. You can tell her vocal demeanor was that of somebody that didn't believe a word that was coming out of my mouth. And she was growing more and more suspicious as the conversation went on, because I couldn't hear her very well. The place was beside a very busy street, and every time a car would go by, it would completely drown her out. And I'd be like, I'm sorry, I can't hear you. I just need to know the name of this trailer park. That's all I was looking for, was the name of the trailer park we were in, because there were no signs, and we didn't have a physical address for this guy. All we had was the name of a trailer park and the road that it was on. Well, the road that it was on goes through 3 different towns down here. So, but there's only 2 trailer parks on this entire stretch, but a bunch of apartment complexes. So I'm trying to talk to this lady, and she's like, I can't open my door. My alarm's set, and I don't want to mess with it. I've got my dogs, but I'm just going to call the police and let them come help you. And I'm like, okay, fine. You know, have a nice night. Walk back to my vehicle, which is across the street from her place. And believe me, I understand her reluctance to open her door. That's fine. She could have cracked the window where I could hear her better, and I'd have been happy. So I go back to the van, and I look back, and now she's standing outside on her porch, holding her phone to her ear. And I'm like, what? Do you think I'm here to rob you or something? She's like, I don't know, but the police are on their way. I'm like, oh, okay. And she's shining her flashlight towards my vehicle. I'm like, the tag number is this. Make sure you tell it to them right. And she's like, oh, I've got it. So I call dispatch, and I'm like, hey, I'm over here, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, I just want to let you know who I am, so you don't got to waste the officer's time. And the dispatcher's like, we don't have a call for that address. I'm like, what? And now the lady's still standing on her porch. So I look at her and I say, lady, what, is this the correct address for this place? She's like, yeah. I'm like, there's no officers on the way. I'm on the phone with dispatch, and they said that they don't have a call for here. And she's like, yeah, I lied. I was like, oh my God. So I get up, I'm like, never mind. I don't need an officer or anything. She's like, okay. I get off the phone with dispatch, and now she's willing to talk to us, because I called dispatch and called her out on her bluff, and she's like, yeah, now I trust you. If you're willing to call the cops to, you know, see if I called them, then you must be legit. So now we start talking to the lady, and she actually knows the place that we were looking for. So she tells us where to find it. The place wasn't on Google or anything. So yeah, just little silly stuff. And it's like we told her, I was like, look, we're not offended. If the cops would have showed up, fine, we're legit, you know. Wow, this video is going on a lot longer than I wanted it to. Anyway, it was a little interesting story from last night. And I'm going to try to make these videos shorter. I know people don't like watching 10-minute videos, but I just want to kind of do a recap of maybe what happened the night before or the day before, and try to do little daily updates. You guys let me know what you think about that and what you think about the videos, and I'll kind of make a determination from there. Anyway, that's all for now. Ben the Bondsman signing out. Remember, bail bonding isn't what we do, it's who we are.